Welcome to Jank Kitchen. We're making 100 mac and cheeses on this channel. Today's mac and cheeses are going to be Patatas Bravas and Chorizo. I'm starting out by making salsa brava, which is a classic Spanish sauce that originates from Madrid and has a nice smoky flavor. We'll be using one whole yellow onion for the sauce, and we're going to blend the sauce later, so the onion just needs to be sliced evenly. I'll also be mincing 6 cloves of garlic, which is a lot of garlic for a typical salsa brava, but I really like a little extra garlic in my salsa brava, so use less if you want to. Our onion can get sauteed in a couple tablespoons of olive oil until it starts to turn translucent and picks up a little color. And I'll add my garlic towards the end of cooking the onion so it doesn't burn. I'm going to also add some anchovies to saute slightly after the garlic. Now, typically you'd be using tomato paste instead of anchovies for a classic salsa brava, but anchovies are at least 20 times better than tomato paste, so yeah, we're using anchovies. Once everything's looking nice and golden, I'm going to add a 12-ounce can of tomatoes. It's going to cook down for a little while before I add a teaspoon and a half of smoked paprika. I'll also add a teaspoon and a half of lal mirch, which is actually an Indian pepper, but I use it in any recipe that would normally have cayenne because it has the flavor that cayenne wishes it had. This can all get blended together and finished with salt to taste and sherry vinegar. For our fried potatoes, I'm doing some crispy fried tater strands. Starting by grating some potatoes. Our grated potatoes will get pat as dry as possible between some cloth. These potatoes get coated in a little bit of cornstarch and fried in 350-degree oil until golden brown. Once golden brown, they can be removed from the oil and coated with seasoning salt. My seasoning salt just has salt, smoked paprika, and onion powder. We can then turn our salsa brava into a beautiful cheese sauce. We're going to be weighing out around 180 grams of our salsa brava, and that's going to get 6 grams of sodium citrate, along with 150 grams of low moisture mozzarella or provolone. This should just be able to be mixed together until it becomes a nice smooth cheese sauce. This sauce can be added to some noodles that are cooked till just before al dente. And I'll warm it through with some extra cheese for cheese pull. This will go into a ramekin or baking dish and topped with our potato crisps. And I'll lather it in more of our salsa brava and some mayo. Hell yeah, mac and cheese Patatas Bravas. I could eat like 10 of these. I love it. It's got like, you know, almost tomato soupish vibes with a little bit of spicy. Kind of dip your grilled cheese into it. But it's also got like the spiciness of Patatas Bravas. It is so good. I maybe give this one like a 9.2. It's fantastic. Next, we'll move on to our chorizo mac. I'm using Mexican chorizo for this mac and cheese. About half a pound of this chorizo is going to be cooked down in a pan. You don't need to worry about adding any oil because chorizo has plenty of fat on its own. Once the chorizo is finished cooking, remove most of it from the pot. I'll then add just enough flour to soak up any chorizo fat. The flour got cooked over low heat until it was cooked through. Once cooked through, I added 150 grams of whole ass milk. This mixture also got 6 grams of sodium citrate and 150 grams of low moisture mozzarella. It then got blended into a beautiful smooth sauce before putting most of our chorizo back in, saving a little bit for a topping. I think I just inadvertently made the meat and cheese sauce you would have at a Super Bowl party, but that's alright. This cheese sauce is going over some cooked noodles. It gets some extra cheese for cheese pull and goes into a ramekin or a baking dish. It gets topped with our leftover chorizo. Then I'm going to bake it just to warm up the chorizo topping. I'm topping this with some raw diced onion, and I would probably also use some cilantro if I had any. It smells kind of like a Mexican restaurant, like a good taco place. A little bit more onion. That's meat-tacular. I think I'd give this one like an 8-9 out of 10. It's so good. It is kind of like, you know, the meat and cheese dip you might get at like a Super Bowl party. But it's so good. I want another one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe for more mac and cheese. Let me know if there's any mac and cheeses you'd like to see in the future.